I'm Adam Johns from the Chicago Sun-Times. This is Mark Potash, and welcome to another edition of the Bears Video Mailbag, where we answer your questions from Twitter. Mark, the season's over. The Bears are 8-8. The Packers knocked them out with the devastating blow, so a lot of good questions here. So let's start with the offense. This is from Twitter follower Macadamian. Do you believe with this offense, assuming we keep Cutler, can we be, the Bears, I imagine, be 11 to 12 win team with some tweaks and added talent on defense?
I don't think there's any doubt about that, Adam. You know, the only problem is that they can be a 4 or 5 win team too, the way the NFC, the way the NFL is. But to your point, I think there is a definite possibility. I think even though as devastating as a loss as this was, I think the Bears' arrow under Trestman is pointing up without a doubt. For one thing, this offense is going to be very stable. There's going to be a lot of continuity. I think Cutler's going to be back. I think almost everybody is going to be back, and they had everybody healthy this year. Assuming that stays the same, they're going to take another big step and be one of the best offenses in the league. The defense really cannot play any worse than it did this year. I mean, they still had talent, and they just made the least of it. So I think I see whatever changes are made, I think are going to help on offense. I think they're going to be a much better team. I still think that, unlike in previous years under Lovie Smith, I think they're moving up instead of down.
All right, after that, the devastating loss against the Packers, there's been a lot of questions about the defense and the safety of defensive coordinator Mel Tucker, whether or not he's in the hot seat and deserves to be fired. So we have some questions from that. And this is from Joe Barzak on Twitter. Could you see Leslie Frazier, who just got fired up in Minnesota as their head coach, coming in and replacing Tucker?
Well, I guess if they made the move, I could. Leslie Frazier is an accomplished defensive coordinator. But that said, I just don't think the Bears, frankly, are going to fire Mel Tucker. Mark Trestman, his history in Canada certainly was that he was very loyal to his coaches. I don't think he even made any coaching changes in his staff in the first 4 years. Of course, they won there, so I guess there's a difference there. But even when they had some trouble in later years, he really didn't make a lot of changes. And I think Mel Tucker, for all he's done, I guess you have to say that he deserves a chance to run his defense with as many of his players as he can before you start firing guys like that.
Right, and I think the saving grace for Tucker right now is all the injuries that happened. And we're talking about the caliber of injuries, too, from Charles Tillman, Henry Melton, Lance Briggs. Those are Pro Bowl caliber players. And having Julius Peppers having an up-and-down season. All these things have to be considered and weighed when you're looking at the body of work of Tucker. Let's talk about Lance Briggs a little bit here. We haven't been able to talk to him a lot in the past several weeks, and a lot of people have a lot of questions about him, about where he is with the Bears and where he might be in the future. He does have a couple of years left on his deal, but that doesn't mean he's going to be staying here. So this question is from Big Hurt NYC. The possibility of trading Lance Briggs.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. I guess the only real possibility would be if Lovie Smith got a job somewhere and then he could be traded there. But if Lovie gets a job in Detroit, they're not going to trade him to a division rival. And trades just aren't made that often in the NFL, so I really don't think that's a possibility. It's a good question, though, I'll say that, because Lance Briggs, to me, I'm not sure how interested he is in playing for the Bears right now. The way he played in that fumble situation where normally he'd be the first guy on the ball and really didn't do much.
Well, that's a good point. He could be traded if he demands to be traded and shows that he's unhappy here and tells Phil Emery and company that, hey, I want to go elsewhere. I don't feel like I fit here.
As the defense fell, I think Lance just his heart he lost his heart a little bit and his interest a little bit. It really took a lot out of him because you know something? He's not the leader that Urlacher was on the field, and you could see that was a difficult role for him. He needs somebody who puts him back in that kind of secondary role as far as a star player, where he's not the leader. And I think if the Bears can kind of revive that role for him, I think he'll be a much better player.
Well, thanks for watching this Bears Video Mailbag. Any questions in the future, tweet at me, at Adam Johns or at Mark Potash. Thanks for watching again.